Hello! Hi, how you doing? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. That was, I was confused there for a second. I didn't remember that we had made our hidey hole in this trench. But yes, hello, ladies and gentlemen. As I've already said, my name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. This is episode 228. If I am not mistaken, and I hope I am not, we are continuing to walk to the far lands of Minecraft, beta 1.7.3, and raising money for Child's Play charity in the process. Over at farlandsorbust.com is where you can donate. And right before recording this episode, I see that we are at, for this season, $21,321. Raised for Child's Play charity using the... Look at all the creepers. Oh, look at as my voice cracks. Puberty. What? Oh yeah, you can use the new official Child's Play charity donation widget that we have on there. It seems to be working well. As a little bit of a reminder, I got some clarification from the Child's Play charity people that, yes indeed, they are treating, for privacy's sake, which makes sense, for privacy's sake, when you do make a donation, if you don't have a donor account through Child's Play charity, and you don't set up to do so, to share your username, your donation will come through as anonymous. It's not required. You don't have to have a donation account. It's just a simple way they set up to secure privacy, and also it's a way you can track your own donations if perchance you make multiple donations to Child's Play charity over a course of time. It's a way that you can keep track of that for yourself and for tax reasons and stuff like that, but not required. So if you don't have an account, your donation will come through, and I will not know who it's from. It will come through as anonymous. What I've suggested is, if you would like to let me know who it's from, either through your YouTube username or say your Twitter handle or just a first name basis, nickname basis, whatever, you do so using the comments field. There's a little text box that you can add comments, and those are comments that I receive with your donation. Perhaps it's a question you would like me to answer in Far Lands or Bust. Perhaps it's just a... whatever other words you care to share with me. Stern words of advice towards me. I don't know. Whoa! That, Wolfie, don't go down there. I feel like he may have gone down there. Oh, there he is. Sorry. That usually... Well, it's because it's under the tree. It's especially dark. Dark pit of doom. Whoop. So yeah, do that. If you're going to do that in the comments. You know, if you want to write a few words and say, oh, this is from blah 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 on YouTube or Twitter or whatever, and that's the way it'll best work. So just wanted to reiterate that. Not too important. Like I said, I respect y'all's privacy, so I don't just go around saying everybody's name who donated and things like that. I feel just the fact that you're helping out Child's Play charity. What they do is they use that money to get toys, books, games, video games to hospitals around the world, and then, you know, when kids are in those hospitals for whatever short or long-term reason, they allow those kids to have those games to use and books to you know, to allow them to continue being kids while they're in the hospital. It's a great cause, as I say many times over again. Other such gaming fundraisers like Desert Bus for Hope, Minecraft Marathon, who else? Zeldathon, obviously, our friend MC Gamer supports Child's Play charity. Did I say Mario Marathon? I don't know if I did, but Mario Marathon is another pretty big fundraiser that donates to Child's Play charity. So good stuff all around. So thank you everybody who has taken the transition from the chip-in widget to the new Child's Play charity widget. You've all taken it in stride and with great poise and other words that are failing to be expressed via my limited vocabulary. This should be fun. You did not disappoint, Sand. You did not disappoint. Although I guess that... Oh, careful, Wolfie. That could have cascaded down as well. You disappointed, Sand. The other Sand... Watch out for the cactus, Wolfie. The other Sand did not disappoint. So yeah, that's cool stuff. I as always, I said this already, but I appreciate the donations to Child's Play charity. It's one way that I feel you are noticing and appreciating what I'm doing with Far Lands or Bust, and keeps me trying to keep up with my, as you may have guessed, I'm trying to keep up with an every other day sort of schedule for Far Lands or Bust, being as it's my most important series on YouTube that I have, so it is top priority. Top priority. Floating block of sand, floating block of sand. Defying the laws of physics. Oh, so is this. Oh, maybe not. So yeah, continuing on, Far Lands or Bust. I guess as a... Oh, how did you... Hey. Oh, dang, can't sit in the water. Come over here. I wish to feed you. These are raw pork chops, by the way. I always get questions about this texture pack I'm using. It's a fan-made texture pack. Obviously, Wolfie is the only one who eats the raw pork chops, so they turned into doggy treats. That looks like a house over there. It's the strange cube of dirt, or sand, rather. Dan, rather. But it looks like a house. Looking like a house. Oh, I wanted to follow up on... I mentioned in the last episode, but didn't get the episode up in time, that there was a space launch. NASA launched... well, I guess it technically wasn't NASA. It was... ULA, United Launch Alliance, launched from the just outside of Kennedy Space Center from Cape Canaveral, an Air Force satellite. It was being broadcast that you could watch. I didn't get that up in time, so the launch happened and was over with by the time that episode of Far Lands or Bust was up. But it happened, and it went seemingly A-OK. There was a really cool camera that they had pointed at the back of the rocket, so you can see the separation of the first stage, and then, oh, this is a impressive little giant waterfall. Little giant waterfall. We are just full of contradictions today. But yeah, there's a really cool camera angle that looked, it was from the upper Centaur stage, looking back at the first stage that disconnected, and then when the payload fairing, something we're still waiting for in Kerbal Space Program without the use of mods. The payload fairing splits in half, and then they even got video. I did the splits in half. I took my hands off the keyboard and mouse and made a mimic of the splits in half, because you guys can see that through fraps, right? Okay, yes. Sometimes I get concerned that I forgot to hit record, but I'm recording. But yeah, you can see that fly away into the background with the Earth. You know, you can see the Earth in the background. It was a really cool image that you don't get to see a lot of time. They don't, obviously, adding more cameras adds more weight and technology and cost to the flight, so they generally tend not to do that sort of thing too much with broadcasts and stuff like that, but that was really cool. I'm sure there are engineering purposes to have cameras on the spaceship as well. Spaceship? On the rocket, you know, to see the way things work. There have been problems. Careful. Oh, he's gonna hurt himself. Yep. There have been problems in the past where those payload fairings don't separate properly and end up ruining the mission and things like that. So I guess there's engineering purposes to have cameras also on a spacecraft. But yeah, that was cool. Watch that. I'm sure there's replays. You can just search YouTube for Atlas V launch, and you'll see many videos of all the different launches that have happened throughout the many years that the Atlas V has been a part of the fleet of our satellite launching capabilities. All right, let's make the first Elevated hi-ho of the day. Of the episode, rather. The sun sets. One more darkness level, I'm calling it. Yeah, let's go. And a rocket launches-ness. We did a good job of avoiding having to go over that mountain. Good strategic hiking we were doing here. Let's see, another thing. Obviously, I do a lot in Far Lands or Bust is answer your questions. I don't really have that much of a topic or any personal stories in mind today, so I will answer a question from Lucas G. Another Luke. Well, Lucas. Lucas. I am your father. Lilu, lalu, lilu. So Lucas. We had Luke last episode. But Lucas G asked, "Hey Kurt, have you ever tried to write a book, short story, or poem?" I used to in high school. I was quite the creative writer. I took a few creative writing courses, and that's where we wrote poetry and short stories and things like that. I don't know that I was really good at it, to be honest. A lot of my English teachers always said I was a very good writer and I should be a writer. So that was one of the many career paths that crossed my mind. Like, that would be interesting, but I never actually fully explored. But not, I don't know that those exist anymore, but I look back at what I did write as a teenager in high school, and probably a little bit on the embarrassing side, the angsty teenage type poetry, I guess is what you could classify it as. But yeah, that's probably as far as I would go. In college, I, as one of my personal projects, tried or had an idea and wrote like a very short script for a comic book, but that never went anywhere. So yes, but mostly no. I guess I could answer that question. Yeah. So not really. I can't say. I mean, when you ask, here's the thing, when you say, "Have you ever tried?" You're asking me, Kurt, right now. I don't feel at all connected to the person I was in high school. I feel like a completely different person. So you'd have to somehow find a way to ask that person if they ever wrote short stories or poems or anything, because that person is not me. As me, myself, and I, the schizophrenic me, I have not written or attempted to write any sort of book, short story, or poems. So, yeah, I don't really read either that much, like novels or anything. I'm a very slow reader, as I'm also very slow with, like, the way I play video games. I can equate it, if you're watching my Mindcrack series, I'm building a replica of the Earl of Sandwich on the Mindcrack server, and I'm just very slow, I'm noticing, in that process. Also very slow, like, through Tomb Raider, getting through that. I'm just very slow in getting the hang of things. I don't know what it is. I'm just slow in the brain. Not like dumb, but just things take time for me to grasp. But once I grasp them, I grasp them thusly. But like reading books, I remember as a kid, just for enjoyment, I liked the Jurassic Park movies, so I wanted to read the book. Those are, I have to give myself a little bit of credit. Those are, the first Jurassic Park book is a doozy and a half. Well, I think I did end up reading it, but it took me like 4 months. I don't have the patience. And by the time I got to the end, I'd forgot what happened for the first 3/4 of the book, so I really was able to make no connections whatsoever. So that's the problem. Excuse me, sir. Cut me off in traffic. Learn how to drive, Wolfie. So yeah, I'm just very slow when it comes to that. And I just feel like to be a good writer, you have to be a good reader as well. You know, just like I'm making Let's Play videos here. I watch a lot of Let's Play videos of other people to try to, you know, obviously for enjoyment. That's a happy chicken. But also for getting to see what's new, or, oh, this person did this cool thing, or this editing technique, or they've started doing this or that. That seems to help. So to be good at something, you have to watch how other people do that same thing, it seems. And I've never been that good or very kept up with reading, so I can't say that I would be very good at writing right now. I don't know. That's a question I get a lot too. Like, oh, what's your favorite book? Do you like reading? What book are you reading right now? I feel it's a little bit embarrassing, I guess you could say. A little bit ashamed of the fact that I don't read that much, because it seems, you know, like something like, especially in the genre of the sort of geekitude, the whole video game, movies and science and things like that. People are very adamant about reading is awesome, and I love reading and reading all these books and blah 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 blah. It makes you a well-rounded person. I'm like, I am not a well-rounded person for that very reason. I apologize. I'm so very sorry. Please forgive me. So yeah, it's not something I'm proud of, but then again, it's not something I'm really trying to go out of my way to change, simply because I have not had such luck, excuse me, changing such things. So yeah, thanks for that question, Lucas. Wolfie is really getting on my nerves today. He's pushing me around, cutting me off. Get with the program, man. We're trying to get to the far lands, right? Sort of. The cow moo like cut off as I got out of audio range, rather abruptly. And oh, speaking of taking donations and people asking questions, I got a series of questions from somebody who donated to Child's Play charity anonymously, perhaps accidentally anonymously because I didn't see who they were, but here's a series of questions from anonymous donor number 642. Would you ever recommend a gluten-free diet to people just trying to lose weight or to get healthier? I'm not sure. I don't think, unless, like I am suspecting myself, unless you have a specific intolerance or allergic reaction to gluten, I don't know that there's anything inherently bad with gluten or products, you know, wheat, barley, rye products. I know there's the whole no to low carb diet thing. Obviously, cutting out carbs would cut out a lot of that wheat, barley, rye stuff anyway, so very similar similarities between no gluten and no carb. So yeah, I can't say lose weight or get healthier. I mean, there's some arguments, some studies that say, yeah, cutting out gluten might improve this, or just cutting out processed foods, which are usually include a lot of those processed grains and wheats and things like that. Maybe you'll have to look that up yourself. I have done no research into the health factor of it. For myself personally, I've become more healthy because I can actually digest food now properly. But get out of here, Cheaty Snow. You are not wanted. But otherwise, not really. Continuing with that line of questioning, are there any gluten-based foods that are worth enduring for yourself for the stomach problems to eat? I can say no. I'm very good, and I've mentioned this before, I'm very good at, and I almost find a little bit of, I guess you could say, sadistic enjoyment out of restricting myself from things. So I've been very good at just being like, I'm off gluten, I'm off gluten. I mean, obviously, I liked hot dogs, I like pizza, Chicago-style pizza, deep dish pizza, I like sandwiches and spaghetti pastas and things like that, and beer. I enjoyed beer for quite a while, but I've since cut it off entirely. I've tried, you know, as far as the beer goes, just out of curiosity's sake, I've tried some of the gluten-free beers, but I've been kind of like, meh. so I've been beer-free for a while. So no, not really. And I even get to the point where I've stopped eating out a lot because the risk of the fact that even if there is some foods or restaurants that say, yes, this contains no gluten ingredients, there are cross-contamination issues, and it's just, to me, not worth it to even chance. Okay, you go out to eat, but then, you know, I don't even think... Let's do a little bit of an experiment here, guys. I don't even think... Oh, well, I guess that's a problem. I need to make this elevated because I'm on snow. Let's try it out! Dangerous experiment. Get the sword out. And right about nowness. And it workedness! So there we go. I could just sleep non-elevated on ice. Of course, now I'm melting all the ice with the torch, but... cool. Whoa, I'm all disoriented and confused. This way's west. So yeah, no, I can't say anything has really been worth it, per se. I'm just not... I don't have, like I've mentioned before, I don't have those cravings. I've even... Let me say, I don't claim to make a declaration about this or anything like that. I don't find it like any sort of like, I am awesome now because I'm doing this. But I've lately, I've stopped. I know another enjoyment of mine aside from the coffee in the morning. I like the well-made, well-roasted kind of gourmet coffees making in the morning. That's almost more of a. It's kind of a ritual thing now, where I take a long time to make a good cup of coffee in the morning. But anyway, I do that, but also being a member of Team Single Malt Scotch, lately, probably for the past... I guess I've made this decision in the past few weeks or so, but I might have to hand in my Single Malt Scotch membership card. So I've decided, you know what, maybe as another thing, I'll just stop drinking altogether. Not like because drinking is bad or anything like that. It's more kind of a money thing. I've kind of realized I started to get into getting, as opposed to, speaking of the cost thing, as opposed to your expensive single malt scotches, you know, $60, $80 a bottles, I started to get into making, I taught myself how to make an old-fashioned, which is just basically bourbon whiskey or rye whiskey, kind of, you know, that's you can get for 20, 30 bucks a bottle. And you make just a standard old-fashioned with, you know, 3 ingredients, whatever. This is kind of a little dessert, I guess, drink I gave myself. But I finished the last bottle of just kind of cheapy, like, bourbon. I even forgot what. I had Maker's Mark for a while. I tried rye. I kind of liked rye, to be honest. That was okay in an old-fashioned. It's the first time I had rye. But that's beside the point. I've just decided, you know what, I was thinking of maybe then going back to and getting a bottle of scotch. And the brand I was looking at was like an $80 bottle. And I'm like, you know what, maybe I should just stop this to see, you know, what's up. You know, I'll just stop drinking. I mean, I suppose if I'm out at a restaurant and there's wine or something, or if somebody offers me a drink, then that I might enjoy. But even just buying alcohol on my own, it would save a lot of money, really. Having, you know, every couple months to spend $80 to try a new bottle. It's not for, like, any reasons other than just to see, I guess, if I'm okay with just excluding that from my life for a while, you know? It's not like for Lent or anything. It's not, I'm not giving myself a deadline, or there's no moral objections to it or anything like that, like I've been repeating over and over again. But, I don't know, I get some sort of weird kick out of that, I guess. And it's kind of a thing. There are a lot of those, if you look online, there's a lot of these, like, 30-day challenges, like, live with only 100 items for 30 days. So you have to carefully curate 100 items. Pieces of clothing, utensils, plates, you know, basically non-consumables. Limit yourself to 100 items. Like, live an extremely simplified life for 30 days. There's a lot of those challenges you can look up online and things like that. I don't know that I'd ever go that far, but you can get some enjoyment out of it, and it is kind of a little bit of a test to your own personal resolve. Hopefully he's not going to make that jump. He's not even going to attempt it. He's going the long way around. So yeah, that even more making it more specific from just saying I'm off gluten. Like, I do get some comments from people like, oh, that must be so hard. I've tried to go on a diet, etc., and it's just so hard to resist or not accidentally or just cheat every once and again. And I'm like, it seems to be okay. I'm doing fine. I haven't cheated with gluten. You know, I going to the grocery store, I'm the guy checking all the labels and things like that, and modified food starch. If it doesn't say specifically it's made from potato or corn or rice, then it might be wheat, so can't get this item. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird... You've gotten a little weird glimpse. I don't quite understand what it is. Perhaps I'll have to talk to a psychologist or something to see what kind of mental problem I have where I like depriving myself of things, but there you go. That kind of answers that question, right? Another question that anonymous donor gave was, do you have any tips or advice for anyone wanting to get into web design? Not really. I was self-taught. Obviously, don't learn based on any WYSIWYG editors like Dreamweaver or things like that. You should obviously teach yourself programming of HTML. You should, I guess the one piece of advice is don't just, there are some people who are, dang, I need a lot of boats. There are some people who are graphic designers who all they do is do the Photoshop mock-ups. And sure, the stuff looks great or whatever, but then sometimes, as a web designer, I would get those layouts from people and be asked to put them into HTML, but those people, since they don't know HTML, made no regard for actually how the website is supposed to be put together, so there's all this weird stuff that makes it very difficult to recreate, or just nonsensically, that doesn't match up. Other times you have very good programmers who are great at their JavaScript, their even back-end stuff, CGI or PHP and stuff like that, but their design sense is way off, and the stuff they create, while it has all these cool functions and automatic Web 2.0 integrated database stuff, they'll look like crap and be very difficult to navigate from the human perspective. So my advice would be to be well versed in both the design side, so take some art classes, some graphic design classes, learn about typography and when to use fonts, and learn about user interface design, but then also take classes in more specific programming. And even, like I mentioned in the last episode, maybe web hosting. Learn how to run a web host or how to navigate your way around server properties and things like that. How to install databases. It helps. I feel like that kind of person, if you're looking to get a job, is very much in demand. I feel like, especially in the entry-level jobs, when I was looking for jobs, a lot of these studios or companies tend to I guess they get their hopes up. They think that they can find somebody who is both an ace designer and like an ace programmer, which would be very, very, very hard to find. I mean, if you are, then you probably have, instead of looking for a job with a web studio, you've probably gone on to create your own website, like Twitter or something like that. You've used your talents elsewhere. So yeah, it's a good thing to be very flexible in that regard, because a lot of times that's what people are looking for. They need somebody who can and do all these things, even though, to be honest, they might be better served by having a really good designer and a really good programmer. They obviously want to save money by having to pay only one salary for somebody who can do both things. So I think that makes sense. The same would go for my advice for anybody who wants to get into graphic design is, yeah, learn all your art and your design and stuff like that, but also take classes in print design and print production so that you, when you hand over your designs and your artwork to a printer, they're not totally flabbergasted at the fact that you don't know what a spot color is, or CMYK, or a registration, or you know, or spot varnishes. You know, the different processes that make their lives a living hell when they get overly designed things to print that are physically impossible to do so. So yeah, thanks for those series of questions, and more so than that, thank you for your donation to Child's Play charity at farlandsorbust.com, where everybody else can continue going. Donate to Child's Play charity, help kids out in hospitals around the world, and perhaps get your questions answered here on Farlands or Bust. You can also ask your questions in the comments below or on Twitter. I am KurtJMac on Twitter. No donation necessary, but always appreciated. Indeed. Alright, so I think this is as good a place as any. Oh, yep it is. Wolfie's already pushed me down here. Hey, guy. Sit. Well done. Put a torch. Let's dig in. The final full-size hidey-hole of the episode. Thank you very much for watching this episode. I've already given my spiel about Child's Play charity, haven't I? And asking questions and donations and things. So let's just make this a proper ending here. Boop. Woof. Woof indeed, Wolfie. Woof indeed. Bloop. Am I the only one who still finds the concept to this series completely nuts? I have to kind of shake my head every now and again and be like, what? What am I doing? Walking to the end of a, for all intensive purposes, seemingly endless map in a video game. Going on for over 2 years now. I think, I think it's I'll have to look it up. I think it's the 29th of March is actually the 2-year anniversary of episode 11 of Farlands or Bust, which is the episode we actually started walking west from our spawn point. So I don't know if we'll have to find a way to commemorate that somehow, I guess. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this episode. I appreciate it. Click that little like button. That always helps get the visibility out and gets more people generous donations for Child's Play charity. Keeps the community, the Farlanders community, growing strong. Bah, indeed, Mr. Sheep. Bah, indeed. So, thanks for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.